Oh, what it do, you dirty baby? Let's go. Oh, that was a little louder. There we go. We figured it out. How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another TikTok Trash Tuesday. There's my mic. All right. Everything's rocking and rolling. Oh, my goodness. I hope you're doing well. Hope everybody's having a fantastic Tuesday. I was off today, as I am all the Tuesdays. And it was relaxing. I did not much of anything except for swept up this dog and his ungodly amount of hair. I don't know how he keeps hair on his body, but here we are, doing it again and again and again. Do me a big giant favor while you're here, man. hit that thumbs up, will you? Really appreciate that, and that helps this podcast grow and this channel get out to more people. And honest to God, I think we put out a quality piece of material over here at HMP, be it, the videos that I put out, be it the videos with the whole podcast and all that kind of stuff. I think that we put out a decent enough product here that I'm going to be honest with you, I don't think is seen by nearly enough people. And the way that we get those out to more people is hitting that like and subscribe button and that notification. So when live shows like this happen, you can show up and, say your piece, as it were. And that's what we want you to do here in the chat as well. So just say some things. And again, all of this bull crap, as dumb as it all sounds, it is the thing that gets YouTube going and saying like, oh, let's put this in front of more people's eyeballs. And that's just how it, will continue on. We got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight, a lot of stuff. I hope it doesn't go too long. I'm going to try to make it not go too long because it is what it is. And it's not going to behoove us all to be here 15 hours, but we're going to do our very best here. MVD in the chat, I watched Siskel and Ebert correctly match the flavor with the color of their favorite theater candies. Dots for Gene, chuckles for Roger. Unfortunately, I found dots. I only found dots in the wild near me. That's an interesting game to play. Sounds like that. Listen, that's something we got to do with me and Bruce, and Sean's not there. Sean will be like, what are we doing? What are we doing? We're reviewing, we're doing candy games now. You don't want it. I don't want it. No one needs to hear all that. You know how it is. So we got a lot of stuff we're talking about tonight, everybody. We're talking Backrooms. We're talking Obsession. We're talking film formats. We're talking Christopher Nolan. We've got ops. We've got ups in this bitch. Some people that I don't like. Sometimes I agree with some of the people that I don't like. So it's always a little bit of a gamble for me to get a video because I'm like, oh boy, but I got a hater that I don't like talking about someone else that I don't necessarily hate, but I don't like him either. So, I don't know. It will be some sort of weird Inception sort of thing. I'll be called, like some sort of something or other because I'm, trying to get clout off of other people. And perhaps that's true. Perhaps it is true. But you know what? I don't give a sweet golly damn worth of nothing. I'll tell you that right now, boys and girls. Because you know what? It's called punching up. And when you're as low as this podcast, you've got nowhere to go but up. See? All right? So even if it's like, oh, that's a small creator. No, it's not smaller than me, my friend. It's not smaller than me. So hit that like and subscribe button. We love you so much. Let's get it. Let me get all my graphics together. I've kind of redesigned some graphics packages. So hit the like and subscribe on fucking account of that just in and of itself, man. The man is doing work on his off time. Oh, that's for another project. This one, here we go. Watch this. Check this out. So once we do this and we add in this and we do this.
The Backrooms has become A24's most...
I'm going to stop. Hold on. I wasn't set to go. Give me a minute. I gotta get it together. All right. I gotta get it together. So, tell me how this looks because I did a different sort of thing. It's weird, and I'm gonna keep calling it out on StreamYard until they freaking fix it. But I wish I could adjust the horizontal stream and the vertical stream separately. But if you move it on the big wide screen, it affects it on the vertical screen and you can't control them independently. So I'm trying to do it so you can see as much of me and the video and put some sort of graphical context so it's not frigging boring. But for the love of God, StreamYard, let's get this shit together, shall we? All right, everybody, let's go. TikTok Trash 45. Let's get in it.
The Backrooms has become A24's most successful movie in right under a week. The movie was definitely controversial, though. Some people really loved it, and some people really wanted the film to be more like the short film on YouTube that gained a ton of popularity. I think any great film is divisive. You need people to feel one way or the other about it. They either love it or it doesn't satisfy them. My question is, do you think we're in a generational run right now of horror films with the release of not only The Backrooms, but Obsession becoming huge box office sensations? Obsession's making more money week over week. Let me know what you guys think.
Well, Christian, what I think is that we have actually, I think he would actually probably attest to this as well. Horror has really been in a great state for quite some time. It really, really has. I think it's really only just recently that kind of the public at large is really kind of coming to grips with like, oh, this is a genre that's not just what I kind of thought it was. It could be more than what, you know, my initial impressions were, which were probably like lowbrow stuff. Because I'll be honest with you, that was me back in the day when I was a youngin. I was first scared of the movies, and then to kind of, you know, make myself feel a little bit better, I said, no, I'm better than these movies. And it's like, no, you're not. This is like you were just scared, you know. And once you figure that out and you go, okay, let me just watch these and see the fun of it, then you might be able to have a little bit of fun. And I think that's what everybody's kind of seeing now, is that with horror movies, you can talk about a wide range of subjects. You can be as, you know, punch you in the face over the top, you know, with your lesson and, you know, moral whatever that you like. Or you could be the smart one and just do it in a metaphorical kind of, hey, read into this what you will. And you certainly can do that with both Backrooms and Obsession. So I think that kind of stuff is a good thing. And like in movies now, that they're mostly like your big kind of blockbusters and stuff like that, your Marvel movies and whatnot. It's the same predictable crap over and over and over again. At least with this, it's like we are telling, you know, with Obsession, we're telling the monkey's paw story, but we're doing it in an interesting new way. And because I think we're doing it with someone who is younger and has a different kind of outlook than, you know, most other folks, you know, that would be making movies in their, you know, 40s and 50s and stuff in Hollywood right now, I think it's a more interesting and kind of fresh take on a well-worn story.
Myself, Markiplier, Curry, I think those are three wildly different, you know, maybe not wildly. I don't want to speak without having actually had a conversation with everyone. But, you know, I would presume there's wildly different, just inherent to life facts about each of us that make us use and leverage YouTube and you know, these kinds of tools in a slightly different way. Because you can work on YouTube without ever looking at your comments or looking at you can post on YouTube and then you can be a YouTuber. Like I wouldn't classify myself as a YouTuber who's like trying to, you know, optimize content.
And then there's that, I think there's a difference, you know, because like exactly what he's saying here, Markiplier would be considered more of a proper YouTuber. It's what he did and what he, you know, still kind of does to this day and everything. There is still that bit of like, hey, look at me, I'm playing Subnautica or something like that. And this guy, and like, for example, what's his face there? My brain is escaping me, that directed Lights Out and Shazam and stuff like that. He, you know, he is like this guy. He is just your kind of regular, I'm not a YouTuber, I'm a filmmaker who just happens to put the stuff that he does on YouTube. Does that make sense?
I never like do more than one thumbnail per video, and I never really aim for anything in particular. I just kind of hope that
I look for views. And you know what I find? Bubkiss. The hell, YouTube. You get 2 million hits on one video and then like 200 on the next. I don't know what the hell's going on. I don't mean 200,000. I mean 200. It beats the shit out of me.
I've crafted enough of a niche online that people will keep showing up for that. So I've gotten lucky. But I think that like you get a very close relationship with your audience and you understand the contract you've signed with them and you get feedback. And I don't think you should just kind of listen. I don't think you should take it like 100% seriously, but I think ignoring it is also depriving yourself of a pretty interesting muscle that I think we've seen has, you know, it gets someone who is coming into the industry and coming into the world, and I'm 20 and any insight is helpful. And so when you have all those tens of thousands of people, you know, talking about the thing you just made, you might be able to glean a little bit from that.
And that takes a level of maturity right there to be able to, at 20 years old, read comments and stuff. And ultimately, I think as what he's saying here is kind of take it as constructive criticism. Some things you can take away, some things, you can just, leave on the table and go, I ain't got nothing to do with me. Amazingly well thought out for someone of that age.
That's an understatement, but I think that's quite helpful.
The attitude of a good movie is the one that divides an audience is so angering to me. Well, it depends upon what we really mean by that. And I think that's just one. I think what that statement means is that like not everybody comes out with the exact same opinion on something, right? So you could even like that could even technically mean like I think this thing is the best thing. No, this is the best thing. Both people could really like it, but there's not necessarily consensus as to what is the thing. I suppose. I don't think it's as dastardly as you might suspect.
If you want to be a director, direct films. We're finally getting to the point where people are like, okay, fine, I'll put my film on YouTube. Versus when I was in film school, that was kind of like a last resort. I was like,
and when I was in film school, like YouTube really didn't exist yet, so that wasn't even kind of an option for you. And now that's not a bad or dirty word whatsoever. And I've now since, after having seen Obsession, gone and seen a couple of Curry Barker's YouTube shorts and movies and stuff like that. I haven't watched any of the kind of more longer, like 1 hour stuff, but I've seen like a lot of the comedy shorts and whatnot. It's funny stuff. And the best part is too, is that it looks really, really good. So this guy was like years ago, putting out stuff on YouTube that has a cinematic look to it, to be quite frank. You know how when you watch this Key and Peele sketch, it looked cinematic and stuff? That's how his stuff looks. So, I mean, like you said, the guy went to film school. He clearly learned his stuff because his YouTube shorts look spectacular. And so, all of this has led to this point, and then, you get enough juice to make a $700,000 movie. And now you've, now you're rushing on the way to $100 million. How about that noise? Smells like this dog's farted in here or something. I don't know what's happening.
Like, screw it. Just throw it on YouTube and see what happens. When we made Obsession, we had no idea what was going to happen. I mean, as the leader of the ship, I had to tell the people, this is going to be huge. You guys have to give this your all because this is going to be something special. Everyone's going to be talking about this. But like, that's just because that's my job, is to like.
He's like, I got to gas him up a little bit here. I mean, like, I don't know if that's going to be true, but like, you would hope it would be true. And you would hope to give that kind of verve to your cast and crew and everything to get them on board to make the thing that, you're most passionate about. Get them to be as passionate as you are about the thing that you're doing. Absolutely. Smart move.
Champion the movie. But really, I had no idea. I wanted it to be something big, but I would have been happy if it ended up on Shudder and you could click it and watch it.
And honestly, it would have been a dope-ass Shudder movie, and it would be something that you would normally see on Shudder. But I am so happy and glad that we could see it, on the big screen, and that people are telling other people, and because it's not going down nearly as much as any movie normally goes down, much less how much a horror movie goes down. So that's impressive.
If you want to be a director, direct films over and over and hone your craft.
And that's the thing. When you look at his films online and stuff, you can just see the guy he's practicing. He's making these films. So when he goes to make this feature film, guess what? He's already done it a million times. That's why he's so confident and able to do the things that he's doing, is because he's already done it a jillion times. He's had so many practice runs.
And don't put too much pressure on one idea. I see a lot of student filmmakers, paralyzing themselves because they put so much pressure on this idea, or they write it where a car explodes and there's no way they can afford it, so they're saving up, and then like they're putting obstacles in their own way to make sure that they never make these films. just make something you can make now.
And remember, that's what Robert Rodriguez always kind of told you in Rebel Without a Crew. It's like, hey, I had, a guitar, a turtle, and, access to this bus. And it's like, that's what I kind of wrote everything around. He said, here are all the things that I have. I have a dog. Yeah, it was a dog, a guitar, and, and something else. And that's how it worked. That's how it worked. He shot around what he had. I think he said he had like 2 fake guns, and everybody had the fake guns. There's like 5 stunt guys. All the stunt guys just dressed a little bit different. And guess what? You got killed 88 times in a Robert Rodriguez film. Wasn't that fun?
And make a bunch of them. Don't worry too much about it being good or being bad.
He shot that for the Mexican television market. He didn't think that was going to go anywhere. He was just like, I'm just shooting this for guitar picks and stuff. This can kind of be my calling card, and then I can make something a little bigger and a little bit bigger. But all of a sudden, his little made for Mexico, direct to videotape here and everything blew up.
Just keep making films.
Yeah, man. Just keep doing it. And again, if you look at the man's work, he's got a lot of work, a lot of at bats and stuff, and that's why Obsession, looks as good as it does. Oh, I've had so much sinus crap, dude. Ridiculous. Looking kind of Dalmery curry. Yeah, listen. It's more Rango than actually not Rango. What's his name? Randall from Monsters, Inc. Curry Barker looks like Randall from Monsters, Inc. Not in a bad way. It is what it is.
Why is it not possible to get the IMAX aspect ratio in regular theaters? Because we're seeing a whole different movie at this point.
No, you're not. No, you're not. We're going to get into it. Let's see what his kind of weird questions are, and we're going to debunk a whole bunch of things about aspect ratios and shooting formats and things like that. We're going to try to keep it, fairly light, but without, I don't want to treat you like you're stupid, but I don't want to go, crazy above and beyond stuff. So we're going to kind of keep it right here in the middle, and I'll do my best to kind of navigate this minefield, if you will.
I get the fact that we can't lug this giant projector and film reel into every theater in America, but a lot of them use digital versions anyway. Why can't we just project the digital version of the full aspect ratio? I want to see the whole movie.
Well, here's the thing. Technically, you're not really, are you seeing the whole movie? Are you not seeing the whole movie? We can really get into stupid arguments here. Because at the end of the day, what we're seeing in IMAX with the 70 millimeter full frame IMAX and everything is traditionally what we would call an open matte framing, right? Which is there is no black bars on top and bottom. Now, when that goes to a theater, what do, boys and girls? That's right. We put black bar on top and bottom. Depending upon what aspect ratio you want. And that's kind of the fun part too, is that you can go, as tall as obviously your regular shot that you've got, all the way down to, Ben-Hur widescreen aspect ratio. The choice is yours. Do whatever you want. And kind of the cool part about that David Fincher and some of these guys, Kubrick did certainly back in the day, was you were able to kind of reframe things and stuff so you could get exactly what you wanted to. And of course, in the case of Kubrick, what he did is he shot a lot of his stuff in this open matte format, Super 35. So it's like 70 millimeter here, but smaller. He would shoot that because he didn't want the home video market to be screwed up. So what he would send would be this open matte thing. So when he shot it for the widescreen aspect ratio, but kept in mind, hey, I got the top and bottom here, and we're going to be able to put that square thing on television, and it's going to look normal and not all jacked up like 2001: A Space Odyssey did when it came out on television, because that's a very widescreen movie. So as you can imagine, on a 4:3 television, it's going to look like crap. He tried to prevent those sort of things from happening. Now, can you show the full aspect ratio in any movie theater? On a technical level, yeah. It's just going to be it's going to be a square. Do you remember how disappointed you were when you saw Zack Snyder's, Justice League cut or whatever the hell it was, that was in black and white and 4:3? And I was almost thinking it had to be in mono. That's just such a bad idea. But that's what it would look like. That's essentially what you have there is a square format. Is that what you want to go to a movie theater to see? Now, if you have a 5-story tall IMAX screen, then yeah, that's not so bad. But if you have just a regular screen, it's going to look like a small square and you're going to be very disappointed. So what they do is they give you that regular aspect ratio. Again, everyone is thinking this. When he goes, oh, we're just shooting this just for IMAX. It's pure IMAX. If you don't think that he's looking at markers on that monitor there saying, hey, here's where the the mats will be for your top and bottom of this and everything and what this will look like in regular theaters. If you think he's not looking at that, you're absolutely mad. So technically you could get this. And technically also, if you're going to a FOMAX screen, you're not even really getting this. You're not even really getting this unless you go to a 70 millimeter IMAX event. So again, we're only talking about maybe a dozen theaters in the entire country that you can go to that will have this available to them, maybe even a little bit less than that. But I think there's like a dozen capable of doing it in 70 millimeter IMAX with the big huge screen.
The same goes for Blu-rays at home. Why can we not see the whole movie in the Blu-ray at home? I don't get it.
Because the screens are different, bud. The screens are different, and they do for a change. I mean, for example, let's take The Dark Knight. Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight, when it goes to the IMAX ratio, guess what? It pops open. Your bottom and top mat go off, and you get as close to an approximation of what we saw in IMAX. But still, even in that particular case, you are not seeing the top and bottom because even that goes vertically beyond what your screen would be. So technically, you're not even seeing that properly unless you're going to an actual proper IMAX screen. This goes back to what I was saying a couple weeks ago about how IMAX itself has diluted its brand to the point where I don't know why anyone would want to buy this company or, stock in it or whatever. I think it's such a stupid thing and just well outplayed its usefulness, to be honest.
You can't tell me we're getting the same movie. It's clearly not. And
it is. You're just, I don't know, not bright enough to understand.
the fact that they can show these shots on the internet, on my phone here, I can see it. I can see the full shot. Why can't they just show me the full movie no matter?
Because it would be a square. And then people like you would come in and be, hey, I paid all this money. Why did the black things on the left and right? What the hell is this about? You want to know how I know that? I know that because that's what people said about widescreen DVDs, for crying out loud. Why would I want this? It's got black bars on top and bottom. It's the proper aspect ratio. If we showed you the proper IMAX aspect ratio, you'd be pissed. Okay? I'm sorry that you're not bright enough to put this together, but that's what it is.
No matter what theater I'm seeing it in, or when I want to buy the movie on Blu-ray, why am I only seeing a little sliver of what I actually...
Another little fun point for you, kids. If you buy those on Blu-ray, the Christopher Nolan films, we're going to talk about those specifically because he does it more, on, say, Oppenheimer, for example. Oppenheimer, if you watch just the digital version, guess what? Black bars on top and bottom, and you don't see that full IMAX screen. However, if you pop in the 4K, that's when in those IMAX screens you get the the open mat, as it were. Even though you still, again, are missing top and bottom because they're not going to squeeze it in because people like you are going to then complain about it. So that's the problem. Is the regular IMAX is a square. Everything else that we're looking at is usually 1.85 to 1 and wider.
Actually want to see. Like, I am not an expert in this, but can someone
Clearly.
please tell me why this is not possible? Because it seems very possible, especially with the fact that I'm seeing it right here on my phone.
I hope this video was informative to you, kid. It's not that you couldn't, it's that you would be mad if you did. Yeah.
Just watched Nightmare on Elm Street with my 10-year-old. He's a spooky baby. Everything went fine. It was great. Not like me when I was 10.
Not me, buddy. At 10 years old, I was not watching me some Nightmare on Elm Street. I'll tell you that, man. I was a scared little kid. I couldn't do nothing. And I'll say this, my nephew, Max, who just a couple years ago, when he was like, I would say 7, 8 years old, wildly scared to death of Ernest Scared Stupid. Some about it did not hit him right. He was scared, and he wanted to be so tough. He wanted to be tough and watch it and be like, yeah, none of this stuff scares me. And he watched Ernest scared stupid, and it scared him stupid for a good bit. But there was always something in him that kind of wanted to, like, crawl back and see some horror films and stuff. And I will say now, being the awesome uncle that I am, over the last couple of years, we have kind of trained him into the into the business here and everything as far as horror movies and stuff goes. And I say this to you now with joy in my heart: the boy is bulletproof almost. I'm sure there's a couple things, maybe demon related stuff might get him, but at this point right now, the man has seen himself like dead alive. Didn't phase him whatsoever. We watched like The Exorcist. He's gone through all the big boys. You know what I'm saying? Nightmare on Elm Street. He's done that sort of stuff, and I'm just like, and none of it phases him. So it's great. I'm glad that he's got this. Certainly at this age, because Lord knows I was a baby. I didn't really even get into watching horror movies proper until I was like 16, 17, maybe.
He's asleep right now. Doesn't matter. I was a mess when I was a kid. Couldn't do scary movies. Here's the thing, though. There's only one scene, and it's not even the whole scene, that I was like, oh, he needs some parental guidance right now. It's when Johnny Depp's dad takes the phone, takes it off of the hook.
That's the thing we need to talk to him about.
This is how old we are. I go to my son, do you know why he did that?
No.
When the phone's off the hook, you couldn't make a phone call.
Oh, how's that work?
And then it cuts to Heather Langenkamp, and she's dialing Johnny Depp's number.
I can't get
and I'm like, yeah, she's about to hear a busy signal. That's what that sound is.
It doesn't make any sense to the small child.
It's the busy signal.
Huh?
So she knows that the phone is off the hook. Then she rips the phone out of the wall.
So then the phone, the phone can't ring now, can it? Can it?
So the phone isn't going to.
Oh, wow. This is like, I guess I never really thought about this. It's like, yeah, you kind of have to explain to them, like, hey, this is why this is wild and crazy. It's called, the phone would not normally be able to ring at this point. So you have to kind of give them the updates. That's funny.
Work now, because she just pulled the plug out of the wall. Mayhem, gore, murder, monsters. It's all fine. But a dial tone. And I'm like, okay, so.
It's funny, the things you gotta go through.
Here are 5 horror movies you've probably never seen before, and for the sake of variety, I've included a different flavor for every craver.
Ooh, I hope one is Chunky Monkey.
Swimming Pool, aka The Pool, is an early 2000s German slasher. And you can tell because there's a blue filter that permeates this entire film, a very hyper-specific horror movie trend from the early 2000s. And if you heard the word German and are already checked out because you don't do subtitles, first of all, grow up. Second of all, this is in English. Lady.
So all of the titles sound like this. Here we are, we're doing the swimming in the pool. Here we are in the pool, doing the back throw. That's my German.
In a Cage is an off-the-grid home invasion movie that was just way ahead of its time. It's from 1964, and it's about this woman who gets trapped in her home elevator after a power outage, and then proceeds to be terrorized by this group of criminals. Basically, escape room before escape room. Spider Baby is hands down one of the strangest cult horror movies I think I've ever seen. A really unique blend of dark comedy and surrealism, and it even features a young-ass Sid Haig in it. Baby Blood is my favorite body horror movie that nobody talks about. A French-language film about this parasitic entity that invades this pregnant woman's body, which leads to an unquenchable thirst for blood. Absolutely gonzo in all the best ways. And last but not least, The Vordelak, a folk horror vampire dark comedy that I saw a couple years ago and have not stopped thinking about ever since. Equal parts genuinely creepy and genuinely funny. And with screenshots like this, what's not to love?
That Squidward, that handsome Squidward, what is that?
Well, people were upset at Robert because he was wearing a full-on costume of another man that was a completely different skin color than him. So
this is crazy. Like, I saw the first couple of seconds of this, and my mind about blew wide on open. And I'm like, bro, let's bring this to TikTok Trash Tuesday and see what's up.
a lot of people were just starting to feel like this was a very offensive thing to do.
So approximately 20 minutes of research have led me to understand that that is fundamentally untrue. There aren't lots of people upset with Robert Babroxi for his portrayal as Captain Clark in A24's Backrooms. I found exactly one reviewer that actually brought it up, and it wasn't even upset, but rather just posing the question of whether or not it is blackface.
No, it's not. It's a person inside of a costume. Ugh. Some people are just a little bit too upset with things. It's like, bro, it's a giant pirate. There's no giant pirates out there of any color. So we just got a man that was a giant man that we could put inside of this costume that would be freaky. Were you also pissed that the alien, that the guy that played the alien in Alien wasn't an alien? I mean, I guess technically it was an alien because wasn't he from Africa or something like that? Real tall guy. I forget what his name is.
And what really frustrates me about this app is that certain creators are allowed to get away with just shy of M word because
You're allowed to get away with what's the M word? I'm a millennial. I thought I knew all the racist stuff. What's the M word?
the fact that that man could make that video and then just have his comments loaded up with a bunch of anti-black dog whistles, and then he gets money for it while I get an account strike.
Oh boy, here we go. That's what this comes down to. I'm getting strike. Trust me, pal. Look at the amount of shit I put out, and look at the amount of views I get. I'm telling you, I put out. I'm just fuck me. I get it.
For literally speaking critically about theism. Okay.
Everybody I don't like is one, huh?
Amongst my mutuals and in person,
I didn't know we were coming here, but here we are.
I have yet to encounter a black person that was upset with his performance as Captain Clark.
Because we all, like, half the fucking people thought it was CGI or a puppet. So, like, I don't think anyone knew there was a person inside of a costume. I think we all thought it was like weird marionettes or like I don't know. Like maybe there was a guy in a costume. Like, I didn't even think about it. You know what I'm saying? Really? Really? The M word is the word for little people that rhymes with widget? Are you kidding me? We can't say that? My favorite racing cars are the midget cars.
I have yet to find a conversation in which someone's like, how'd you feel about the blackface in Backrooms? It has not happened.
Well, because it's a costume. It's a head that's put on a person. It's not makeup. They realize that that's not makeup, right? It's not. It's a costume that he's inside of. He's just a very tall man that they put a costume on. Blackface, get out of here, dog.
The way y'all try to paint Black American communities as like crybabies.
I don't know. No, I'm just kidding.
Who are sitting around waiting to be offended is actually so criminal. Modern blackface has become such a needlessly complicated subject to approach.
If that gets me demonetized, I'm calling Brad Williams. He'll back me up. I'll be all right.
Because most of the industry to some degree partakes. But I think you would be hard pressed to find the average black person thinking that that is a premier example of blackface, especially for being offensive. Most black people living in this country understand that race quite literally touches everything we consume. But the majority of us understand when something is intentionally making a mockery, and then also when it happens to be an unfortunate instance in an otherwise very artful effort. Captain Clark is meant to be an exaggeration of the dark parts of Clark's psyche.
Right, it's a nightmare. That's the point of it. It's large, it's crazy, and you needed someone to be able to fit a costume.
His shadow self. Yeah, it's unfortunate that the actor portraying Captain Clark is white.
Is it unfortunate? What the fuck kind of language is that? It's unfortunate that he's white. Fuck you, pal. I'm sorry, but fuck you. That's racist, dog. That is racist as shit. Just like, oh, it's unfortunate he's white. I'm gonna keep my mouth shut on some things, but that's no good, dude. Come on, I'm gonna keep myself in check here, but that's pretty bad, man.
that does have an impact, but it's absolutely not the one you guys are framing it to be. Pseudo-intellectual conversations like that are literally
This guy knows all about that.
launched into the zeitgeist to temper people towards anti-blackness, and you cannot convince me otherwise.
Oh, that's always a good sign when someone tells you they can't be convinced otherwise. That means we got a real open minder here.
Literally the only reason why that shit flies is because y'all's entire world spins on our fucking backs so that you can turn a coin.
What are you even on about? This homeboy is so mad that he got demonetized for calling somebody a slur or something. I don't know what he said, but it happens, man. It happens. Maybe if you weren't saying things like it's unfortunate that he's white, that's a little racist, no? Feels like to me. Oh my God. Working opening weekend for Digital Circuit. Now, if you don't know what that is, that's an anime thingy or whatever that's on YouTube. And apparently the people that be watching it are the stinky of stinkies. As you might imagine, anime people stink. They do. I'm sorry. I'm sure some of you are fine, upstanding, well-smelling, well-bathed and groomed individuals, but the majority of you are not. Like, this is only half a joke with them. I can almost tell you it's like half a joke. You ever go to a comic book convention? And then like they always have like that little archway thing that's right like as at the entrance and whatnot as you go in, and when you cross that precipice, a wave, I don't care what kind of comic convention, it's the same everywhere. A wave of funk and stench will hit you like a tsunami of disgusting, and it will go like you will have a moment right there going, should I have made this trip today? What am I doing here? Why God? Why? And you get past it and you realize it's just a cloud at the beginning. But it can happen. I'm a fan of the Amazing Digital Circus, and I saw the finale at the theater. Let me ask you this, though. How many people in the movie theater were stinkies? See? Gen Con is terrible. I went to a Gen Con event in Florida. I would imagine same basic idea. It's ran by the same people, so. All right, what's next?
Obsessions, written and directed by Curry Baker, stars.
Oh boy, we got our buddy Real Bad Takes here. What's he gonna do for the first 5 minutes of the video? Is he gonna just stand and look at the camera like a doof? I don't know. Let's see what happens.
Michael Johnston and Indy Naravette. Pronunciation check on that, please.
Take in regards to Jeremy John's review of Obsession, but first I have to say this is the largest review currently online of one of the more important movies of the 2020s from the.
Oh my God! I mean, I like the movie, but I are one of the more important movies of the 2020s. Let's see some rationale.
The biggest figure in the online film critic space.
We need a little bit of peanut butter to go with that jelly.
To say, when you are a professional critic with 2 million subscribers, this.
You hear it? You hear that jealousy in that voice right there? Ooh. Oh, it hurts them.
This is your entire job, right? Is it too much to ask to glance at the name of the director and star of.
Why can't you do these things that I do in a more boring fashion? Can't you be as boring as I am? Come on, Fraser, get with it.
The movie you are reviewing. This is not Indy Nar something. This is Indy Navarrete. If you think it's Nar, again, you didn't even glance at her name. This is one of the breakout stars, really, of the past 5 years. It's not directed by Curry Baker. It's directed by Curry Barker. And
get it right, bro. I get it. He makes a well enough point, but like, you're such a douchebag about it. I mean, again, the reason that you're being a douche about it is because you're jealous of him.
Again, and
I know that you're going to say that I'm doing this because I'm jealous of you, and perhaps that might even be true, but guess what? I'm also better at this than you.
Just glanced at his name, you would see this. Literally hundreds of people on this app that are better at what they do than Jeremy Johns,
and better than you, but some of us don't get all the recognition. Isn't that funny how that feels?
This is one of the people that the general public relies on, which to me is absolutely insane. But now
again, the call is coming from inside the house.
Let's get to the actual point I'd like to make.
First, it's
Oh my God, you've gotten to a point. I swear to God, Real Bad Takes has never gotten to a point, I think, ever in any of his videos. Let's see if he can conjure up one this time.
starts out, it's kind of whimsical and cute, and it's not like he's gonna go, oh wow, that wish stick that I cracked actually worked. No one's gonna think like that. No one's gonna believe that. It's not like Big, where you have instant verification of that wish thing obviously works. He just thinks, okay, she likes me now.
In that review, he really hammered home the crazy girlfriend of it all, how scary the dating pool is. He really kind of empathized with Bear. Not much about Nikki, not much about consent, blah, blah, blah.
Oh boy, here we go.
Par for the course for Jeremy John. I wanted to focus on that.
He doesn't think exactly like I do, ergo it's bad.
One thing he said, because I've heard it said a lot, people saying, oh, well, Bear never could have known that the wish worked. Except Bear made a very specific wish, right? Did not wish for the courage to ask Nikki out, did not wish to know what Nikki felt, didn't wish for something that would be helpful but not intrusive.
Yeah, because again, that's also not how things really work. That wouldn't be the wish that someone would make in this situation. The whole point of what Bear does is, and why things go as badly as they do, is that he makes his wish in the heat of the moment. He doesn't think about what he's saying. He just had this, this moment where he was almost ready to do it, and he pussied out, and he was just like, man, I just wish this was easy. And he didn't think about what he was doing because, he did it irrationally. He did it quickly, again, which was not something that you wanted to do. And I do think Johns is right to a degree that there should have been some sort of thing of like, there's no way that would have worked. And one of the reasons that I didn't, at least part of me was like, oh, she is there all of a sudden right away. It's scary, but at the same time too, it would automatically make him believe that the thing that he did was what actually happened. And he would know right away, oh, this thing did work because that would not happen. So it's all storytelling semantics at that point.
Wish to control how Nikki felt. Hearing people talk about this as if it takes place in our world. It takes place in a...
But again, and guys like this will go through and try to analyze everything to the nth degree, when at the end of the day, it's also just a monkey's paw. It's just a monkey's paw story. Be careful what you wish for, because what he wished for, had consequences. What he wished for was not good. And you realize that, hey, you can't just force these things upon people. Now, I know you guys like to go through and, crack everything open and dissect it to the nth degree. But sometimes a movie can just be that on its surface, and it doesn't even have to be that deep. You can make it as deep as you like and have a good old fancy time with it. But, if someone isn't looking into the political blah, blah, blahs to all of it, it doesn't make them lesser of a reviewer. It makes them less of a douchebag.
A very unique world where it seems that the One Wish Willow has been around since the 80s and people know that it works. It's kind of teased when Bear buys it. He has a conversation with the person at the store who basically says to him, like, yeah, people regret that. Stuff works. It ruins their life, blah, blah, blah. And he is nervous in response. He says to him, don't come back here complaining. I feel this conversation was very purposely put into the film. This is not in our reality where this working would be out of the question. And Bear is nervous for a reason. Speaking of Bear being nervous, I think one of the reasons Bear is so nervous to tell Nikki his feelings is because he knows that Nikki does not.
Right. Duh. No shit. No shit. Well, we put that one together, didn't we?
Feel the same at the end of the day. When he tells her he has a gift for her, she gets uncomfortable. This is not a good sign. He makes this wish.
I'm sure you know all about it.
Immediately after having the opportunity to say exactly how he felt. My theory, the more I've thought about this film, and this is not objective fact, just something I feel, is that
oh, at least he realizes that it's a feeling and not a fact. That's good.
Bear knew almost immediately that the One Wish Willow worked. Because
he absolutely did, because she showed up right to his door and was acting like a crazy person right away. That's like, again, if I was to level a complaint, that would be a little complaint, because if there was a gap in between there, it would have led to the idea of there being a possibility of, did it work, did it not? Maybe perhaps she just actually fell in love with me. That wasn't the thing that I did. So, I mean, there are two ways to play it, and that's the way that, Curry decided to play it that way. So it's fine with me, but, again, we can't get mad at movies because they didn't do what we wanted them to do. That's not how that works.
The way Nikki acts, not a single person would feel like this was normal. Bear's initial response to her having a wide, eerie smile next to the car is, what the fuck? Next thing that happens is there's a very purposeful shot of him looking.
Christ, is he going to go through the whole movie? I didn't know that we were going to do this. And again, he talks so fucking slow.
Looking at the One Wish Willow, he glances at it and then he hides it. And Nikki is acting very bizarre, says she lost her cat. He once again looks over at the One Wish Willow in the back after she...
Is my boy reading the fucking script to us? What is happening?
He asks him to come inside. I think Bear knew exactly what happened. Bear knew that this wish worked. I feel...
Why are we having this conversation? We all know he knew it worked. He saw it right there in the car. What are you talking about?
Like what we see from Bear is almost someone
otherwise
who is aware of the fact that they're being observed by the audience. It's almost like watching funny games where he knows that we can see him. So we see Bear's persona just like he shows to Nikki, this being the face you put on for the world. In reality, we're watching Bear's shadow operate in the background the entire time, knowing that he has what he wants. There is nothing throughout the course of this film.
Homie is so jealous of his YouTube success that he's oh my God. Why aren't people coming to me for my analysis? It's all over you, baby.
That shows us that anything about Bear's persona is real. Bear immediately sees Nikki throw him off of her. He moves forward. He pretends like he doesn't want anything that's happening, right? He doesn't know.
Oh my God, for another recreation of this movie, check out his play every Thursday evening at 8 p.m.
What's going on, but he moves forward. Bear sees this person make a shrine out of his dead cat the next morning, and he moves forward. Bear at no point is considering what's actually happening in Nikki's mind. He's considering his own happiness. Bear does reason.
All this came off of a motherfucker not wanting to say somebody's name right or some shit. Okay, just to let you know that that's the root of all of this. 45 minutes for this.
Research about the One Wish Willow, sees a bunch of people talking about how it works.
Adam, why is TikTok Trash Tuesday so long? Fuck if I know.
The restaurant is a phone call with Ian where he finds out that Nikki looked at him like a brother. The thing is, he already knew that, and the audience should already know that as well. He sees Nikki act completely out of her mind because he cornered her about lying about her father. Then he says, doesn't.
I need to go back and remember that anytime I put this bozo's work in there, I need to clip it and then triple the speed.
Matter to me in a matter-of-fact tone. The note here in the script says his response reveals a disregard for the truth, showing a readiness to ignore darker realities for affection, hinting at a deeply flawed person. Now, there's then a cut to the two of them having sex.
How the fuck does anyone watch you, bruh? You're so boring. You are so unbelievably boring. God.
Which was very purposeful, but in the original script, basically there's a moment here once again where Nikki comes to. It says, Bear remains unfazed, his eerie, calm demeanor chilling. Within moments, she's back, kissing him. The disturbance registers as...
Oh my God, another dramatic reading. Here we go.
Nothing more than a fleeting inconvenience to him.
You're a fleeting inconvenience to this show. I'll tell you that much right now. Jeez.
Straight up say, oh, Bear didn't know that the wish worked, right? When there's absolutely no evidence to support that idea.
God knows you presented us with enough, Matlock. Jesus.
Then gets a cat sandwich. He sees Nikki covered in piss and vomit, and then he has the phone call with Curry Barker on the phone where
spoil everything.
Basically, it's explained what's going on, and he hears actual Nikki screaming. He knows the exact situation. He still chooses to push forward. Then you get the party scene where Nikki gives the story about Hansel and Gretel that's incestuous, which really gives away everything. It's one of the best moments in the film from Indy. And she harms herself, and Bear still does not go to the police or take some type of serious action. Comes a conversation with actual Nikki where she asks to die. Bear says, what's so bad about being with me? She says, I've never been with you, Bear. He contemplates his actions, slowly turns, exits the room. Despite her pleas, Bear shows no empathy. People will insist Bear had no idea what happened when there's nothing about his character that actually backs that up. Look at his actual character, who he is, the choices he makes over and over again. You get a sense he's someone who's intelligent, who knows what happened and chooses to take advantage of it over and over.
That's bad. I'm sorry. I got to apologize for that, everybody. Dude, just, oh my word.
Backrooms has been so unbelievably successful for A24 that now A24 is going to do something that they've only ever done once before. Now,
take it out.
We already know that Backrooms is well on its way to being A24's highest grossing movie of all time.
It's not on its way. It's already there, but yeah.
Recently passed Everything Everywhere All at Once for $7.
Then there you go. What are you talking about? You guys got to read your own scripts here or whatever. It's just like you just said, they're about to do it. They just did it. Huh? Did it happen within the span of that sentence?
Second place this weekend, it's tracking to pass Marty Supreme for the overall #1 slot. Beyond that, when all things are said and done, it has a chance to even double Marty Supreme's total box office haul, if not even more than that. And since the company A24 was founded in 2012, they've released nearly 200 different films across all different types of genres. But now Backrooms' success is leading A24 to do something that they've only done once before in their history, and that was with the movie X. And that is, of course, make a sequel.
No! No! Don't do it. Don't. I know they're going to, because why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they? I know they will, but they shouldn't. They shouldn't. It's such a stupid move. Do not make a sequel to this. And if they do, he should not direct it. Be smart enough not to direct that. Leave it to some other bozo. But, oh, man, no, bad move.
24 is a production and distribution company that champions original ideas, independent productions, more often than not smaller, more human, intimate stories. And that business model is largely what's led them to stay away from franchisable material or the need to ever make a sequel to a movie. But Ty West and the
mid-90s then is the next one called, mid-2000s.
Team behind X had more ideas than just one movie. They jumped immediately into producing Pearl right after wrapping production on X. Pearl being a prequel to the movie X, and it was received very well, oftentimes people liking Pearl more than the original X. However, they then concluded it as a trilogy with Maxine a couple years later. This was largely a failure by all accounts. Now, they have greenlit sequels before. In 2023, after the premiere of Talk to Me, A24 immediately jumped on the Filippo brothers and greenlit a sequel titled Talk to Me. Now, the sequel is still supposedly coming for Talk to Me, but development keeps getting pushed back and delayed. But
I don't think you need to have that. Like, the first one was so good. Don't do it again. Just be happy with what you got and move on, man.
Jumping into the sequel game for A24 continues the trend of them trying to evolve their company into something much bigger. With
which is called, give me that money.
Films like Civil War gaining box office appeal and getting a lot of people that don't normally go out to A24 movies to get out to the theater to see them. Another exciting move is acquiring the rights to make an Elden Ring movie and acquiring the rights to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise is going to see Curry Barker directing a film for them. This
Yes, please.
is undoubtedly an exciting time for A24 as a company as they're shifting their business model to start going for wider, bigger box office appeal. But surely this has to lead fans to wonder if they're starting to stray a little bit too far from the original sauce that made them successful in the first place.
Yeah, but everybody's going to do that. It happens.
I mean, we only used AI for like 20 minutes of the movie. How long is the movie? Like 90 minutes?
See, again, this is a big thing is, and everybody's always going to be talking about AI. So we'll always be bringing up some AI here in TikTok Trash Tuesday every now and then. And it's such a broad and stupid statement that I don't like it because we use AI as just a catch-all for whatever. And I think that, if you get into this idea of AI can never help us or whatever weird blanket statement that would be, that is very much akin to the person that's just like, a typewriter? You mean you don't want to write calligraphy? A computer? What does that do that a typewriter can't do? You don't be an idiot. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I ride a horse and buggy. There's no reason for me to get a car. I know it's not one-to-one to those things, but it's technology, it's new things, and depending upon how you implement those things, it depends upon if it's a good thing or not. I think there's a lot of things that we call AI that's just it's just computer stuff that the computer's getting better at doing, and we just put a bullcrap name on it, and all of a sudden everybody thinks it's Terminator 2.
I would quite literally rather spend the next 5 years in this gigantic backroom set I had built than use AI.
This wretched mortal coil shall know no peace until I release this film.
Computer, make Joe Pesci and Robert De Niro young again.
Well, trust me, the worst part is AI probably would have done that better than they did. I hate to say that shit, but I think that's true. I think that the CGI de-aging on all of our classic actors here in The Irishman was so unbelievably bad. And then some cat on the internet just went and goes, okay, we took that and actually made it better. Here you go. And it looked appropriate, at least as far as the CGI faces go. The unfortunate part was there was still an 80-year-old man inside of the body of, 40-year-old Robert De Niro in the movie. So you're 40 years old, but you move like you're an 80-year-old man. It doesn't make a lot of sense. So, I mean, again, we just start throwing AI at everything, and that's not necessarily the case. Computer graphics are not necessarily AI, but AI graphics aren't necessarily, I don't know.
I wish AI only meant Allen Iverson again. Holy sh**.
I don't like this version. Let's throw it in the trash.
Oh my God, what is this guy doing?
My 10th film will be the greatest. Someone call Samuel L. Jackson.
That guy thinks he's hilarious. I know what that's like.
So, I'm chopped and a monk. I just went on a first date and I think it'll be the last. So we connected on MoviePal about movies, took it off the app, started texting, whatever, agreed to go to lunch. I thought since we connected on movies that would be the topic of conversation,
No, he actually wanted to get to know you as a person. That might be gross.
right? No, not at all. Not at all. It was all performative. Everything. I think the conversations we were having about film were plugged into ChatGPT. Because this man knew nothing about movies or film. It was all a lie. So I'm just sitting there trying to have this conversation and talking. Yeah. Knowing he's lying and he has no clue what I'm talking about. What is going on? Like, actually, what's going on?
Well, people be lying on dating apps, yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Were we too mean to Michael Bay? If you're super young, you may not know this, but back in the day when these movies are coming out, like Transformers or the Turtles, people hated Michael Bay. They just called him a no-substance, action-packed, explosive director who just put explosions every 10 seconds. And yes, that is true.
Yeah, it's like it might have been true, but still.
But they were dope-ass explosions.
Agreed.
We're in an era right now of so much CGI garbage that
that we forget about Michael Bay's CGI garbage, dadgummit.
looking back on these movies, they hold up better than ever. People are nostalgic for these movies. They love these movies. And with The Last Ronin coming out to the gaming world now, I would love to one day see The Last Ronin made by Bay and just some epic, full-on, great CGI, action, dark, gritty. It would be the most insane movie ever. A live-action Last Ronin directed by Michael Bay. Now, I will say, I know the Turtles got treated poorly on those sets, but that's
Well, he also he didn't direct that Ninja Turtles movie. He just produced that.
more of a production producer thing and not Michael Bay. And also Megan Fox may have gotten treated poorly. I don't know. But the point is that if you want action, I think Michael Bay is the way to go. And maybe we were a little too mean to him because yes, his movies may have lacked like a deep soul, but they did the job at being fun, action-packed epics. And I like that sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes you want to go watch The Rock. Because that's a great-ass movie.
There's so many scenes in here that have nothing to do with anything.
This sounds like the best scary movie review I've ever heard. Let's go.
This is just a series of skits. I'm thinking, I'm too old for this. The Wayans come across as some old dudes yelling at them kids out there. Gen Z! They have some references to movies that just came out, and you know they filmed that the last minute. I can moonwalk. Ow! This is
Oh boy, that looks bad.
trying to put up a TikTok video. Look, Michael Jackson, he moonwalked down some steps. Ain't that funny? And be like, no.
It's like, no.
The irony here is that the Wayans brothers were not very fond of Freeberg and Seltzer. They got a writing credit on Scary Movie, but the Wayans threw all their stuff out. Watching this movie here, I'm like, did y'all rehire them? Because this is what they would do. It's that kind of movie where it's, let's not have a plot. Let's just do references. Let's just do callbacks to things that are popular now. And they did a Get Out callback. And
timely.
When he sinks into the chair, do a little bit of the sunken place, but the sunken place leads to K-pop Demon Hunter.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Which made again no sense.
No sense.
It was just because K-pop Demon Hunter made money, and it got demons, so I guess that's kind of hard. I did not like this at all.
Oof. There was a part of me. There was a part of me that, like, when they kind of announced it, and they were just like, "Hey, man, we ain't making no safe thing." I was like, "Oh, we might be doing something over here." And I'm glad that I was wise to just go, "Let's see what other people think."
Rapid fire question of the day. What is your favorite marketing gimmick for a horror movie?
Okay, I think mine is slowed down music. Right. We take a popular song and we slow it down. You know, we often hear it in like, you're like, the first one that I think about is like Nightmare on Elm Street with the 1-2 Freddy's coming for you. So that kind of a nursery rhyme thing, but it's going in this nice slow manner. When you heard the trailer for, I forget what movie it was, but it was like you'll hear like a Nirvana song like really slow, and you're like, oh, okay, this is different, this is new. So anytime that we're doing this slow kind of version of a song, the Gears of War trailer, one of the first Gears of War teaser trailers, was Mad World by Tears for Fears, but it was done in this super slow, very minimalistic piano thing done with Marcus running through all of this, blackness and everything. And then the monster comes, right above him, and he's just shooting up. It's unbelievable, but it's all over just this slower version of Mad World. Very, very good stuff. That's what I think. That's my favorite thing when marketing a horror film, is that kind of, the slowization of a pop song to make it sound creepy and cool.
Let me know in the comments. I know you will. As always, let's run through my honorable mentions before getting to my favorite. We literally can't talk about gimmicks without mentioning William Castle, the king of theater gimmicks.
Oh, yeah.
Everything from vibrating theater chairs.
Tingler is in the theater.
Flying skeletons above the audience using a wire.
So when I did my screening of House on Haunted Hill, I wanted to do that. I couldn't figure out a way to do it and do it safely and where we couldn't get in trouble. So that was the problem. William Castle didn't give a shit about that. But I brought in a skeleton that I have. It's in my garage now, but so I brought a skeleton. I really wanted to try to see if in the right time in that film we could do what William Castle did and just fly the skeleton above the audience. But cooler heads prevailed.
To ghost viewer goggles, issuing insurance policies to audience members in case of death by fright, and even polling the audience mid-movie to choose the fate of the villain.
And guess what? It didn't matter. It doesn't matter if everyone voted one way. Guess what? There was only one ending. It was so good.
If there are no more Longlegs haters in this world, you better send out a search and rescue party to find my desiccated corpse.
You and me both, baby. Longlegs stinks.
But all my hate aside, brilliant marketing campaign leading up to the release of this movie.
Oh, yeah. Credit where credit's due.
Alfred Hitchcock famously had a no late admission policy when Psycho was released, going as far as instructing theater managers to not let patrons in if they're more than 5 minutes late. All for the quote-unquote betterment of their own viewing experience.
Yeah, and some movies have that.
Some theater goers were treated to this missing persons poster that was handed out after seeing Blair Witch Project.
This reminds me of one of the things that I saw as kind of a warning poster outside of when Jet Li's Hero came out in the early 2000s. When that finally, because I had seen the movie on DVD, before it came out in the States here and everything. And I absolutely loved it. And we went to the movies, and the lady at the counter was like, this has subtitles, right? I go, I wouldn't be watching it if it didn't have subtitles in it. She's like, okay. And there was another warning at a thing of going hey, this movie's got subtitles. And when you walked to the theater, on the door, there was yet another warning that looked like this missing person sign that said, warning, this is not in English. It has English subtitles, but we want you to know that this is not an English speaking. People were I guess they must have been mad.
Directed to this website to learn more. You got to remember that the internet was new then. This is probably fucking mind-blowing. But honestly, I think at the end of the day...
Oh, yes. Yes, this was so good, dude. This was so good. This chick, and I'm telling you, if the people at the ballpark if they knew, they did a great job of pretending as if they didn't. I will say that. They did a good job, because it was freaky. Good stuff.
Smile is my favorite horror movie marketing gimmick. And regardless about what you think about these movies, this is just a brilliant way to get butts in seats. And if you don't believe me, just look at the look on this lady's face.
What?
I fucking love it.
Yeah, that was a good one. The people behind home plate smiling during the baseball playoffs in the World Series. That was the best modern gimmick. It was so good, because it was that kind of what's going on here? This just whew, she sold it. So good.
Nobody your age should fucking listen to the Beatles or the Rolling Stones, because you weren't there at the beginning. Why are you jumping on so late?
Because it's fun. Because it's fun, Todd. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Why am I listening to that stuff? Because it's better. because it's better than the modern stuff that is out today. Modern music today is absolutely atrocious and terrible. That's why I will still listen to music from the 60s and 70s and 80s and 90s because like the music was just better then. It just is. Just, you know, I mean, I honestly believe the greatest 2 decades of music is 1960 through 1979. Now, not to say that there's not great stuff before and after. There most certainly is. But you want to talk about a breadth of music and the things that came between everything from rock and roll to funk to blues. Like the amount of shit that goes on in that short period of time is unfriggin' believable, dude. That's why you go back to that. You go back for the plethora of just gold that you have at your disposal. Why go out searching for gold and treasure when it's right here in your backyard in your parents' record bin?
For me, I don't need a blip right now. I need people that will consume my product for years. Mm-hmm. And people go, well, Todd, it's a good jumping on point. What are you using that theory? Using that theory, it's a good jumping on point because then they can get in at the start of something. Using that theory, then nobody your age should fucking listen to the Beatles or the Rolling Stones because you weren't there at the beginning. Why are you jumping on so late?
Yeah.
Right? You're okay. Oh, you shouldn't watch the Dodgers because they started off in Brooklyn. So what are you jumping in 100 years later into the baseball because they got Shohei Ohtani? Like, of course people do this.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm glad that I'm catching what he's saying now because I thought we were saying something completely different. But yeah,
we do it all day long with music and movies and video games. You can jump in at any time if it's quality.
Yep. Yeah.
Exactly. It's got to be a quality thing. And I will say this: I don't know why Todd is going on this show. Todd, why don't you come on this show, man? I mean, you and I, we've got a history, huh? Here's me and Todd McFarlane in 1995. Mm-hmm. Me getting an old autograph from Mr. Todd McFarlane, and I met the actual guy who was the inspiration for the Al, the original Spawn, the black guy, and his buddy was that when he was growing up and everything. They had the funny car there. It was a pretty good time. So listen, Todd, well, give us a ring here. Old time fans, you know what I'm saying?
How important the read through is with the television powers that be. And Dan, one of the producers on the show, says, now listen, make sure you don't mumble when you go to that read through. I was like, what's the big deal here? Why is this so intense? I've been to read throughs a million times with movies. No, we haven't closed it yet with Amazon. Don't mumble. I called my old friend who did a lot of television, Mr. Charlie Sheen. And I said, Charlie...
Which is hilarious because Charlie Sheen is quite the whisper of an actor when you think about it. When you get that Charlie Sheen thing, it's always down here. We're not really going too high. We're not really screaming at people a whole lot. It's just right in this kind of... I got to come up with some. I got to come up with some words about Vietnam. It's hell here, Grandma.
I said, listen, Nick, I'm really busy. I'm writing my book right now. What's the issue? I go, well, look, you've done a lot of TV. I've never done TV. Yeah, okay. What's up? What's up, dude? What's up?
What?
And I said, well,
I said, first and foremost, put down the cocaine.
Well, we're doing the big read-through. Oh, yeah, well, no, Nick, that's the hardest part. That's the hardest part, man. I go, well, so what's the problem? I said, well, this producer said to me, don't mumble. And he said, I'm sorry, who told you not to mumble? I said, I know, I think his name's Dan. I'm sorry, is his last name Sony? No, well, then tell him to fuck off.
It's fair enough. I love this era of Nick Cage with that hair. Just perfect. He just goes, that's the one.
IMAX just embarrassed Disney and reminded everybody why Infinity Vision isn't anything. If somehow you're unaware, Dune Part 3 and Avengers Doomsday come out on the same day, and Dune secured all of the IMAX screens. For a while, there were rumors about one of those two movies changing its release date. Eventually, it seemed like Marvel was maybe going to change their date, but instead, they stuck to that release date and announced at CinemaCon that they're introducing a new program called Infinity Vision, which is essentially a certification program. They tell you which movie theaters have the best picture, the best sound quality. They provide you, the viewer, with essentially nothing and then stick the
Yeah, and then they'll probably try to figure out a way to charge you extra money for like the best theater and the thing, but it's not nothing really. It's just we made it up.
The Infinity Vision logo on it. Folks saw through this pretty quickly as the room collectively rolled their eyes. And now Marvel has secured IMAX screens for the next Avengers film, Avengers Secret Wars, and IMAX's CFO just publicly tore Disney a new one for this idea. During an investors call, she said, "We feel it's a marketing play to try and offset the fact that they don't have an IMAX platform or brand for Avengers Doomsday." Marvel fans are
It's not gonna matter. Call me pessimistic. I don't think Doomsday nor Dune 3 are going to make unbelievable money. I think they'll do fine. I'm not saying that they're going to open to $30 million. No, they'll do okay. But I don't think it's going to be as gangbusters as people suspect.
Among the most savvy and discerning moviegoers out there, and there's a reason why we're the undisputed leader in premium cinema worldwide. Overall, I'd say that's pretty spot on. Make no mistake, Avengers Doomsday will still probably be the highest grossing movie of the year. Even with all the anticipation and excitement for Dune, I don't even think it's a competition, especially globally. But people aren't stupid. Well, most people aren't stupid. Well, a lot of people. Some people aren't stupid.
Most people are stupid. Think about how stupid the average person is, and remember, half the people are stupider than that. Ba-da-bam.
And I think they can smell that you're just trying to make a few extra bucks here. By the time Avengers Secret Wars premieres in IMAX, I doubt you'll ever hear the term Infinity Vision mentioned again.
Yeah, you will, bro. Yeah, you will. You don't understand. Infinity Vision going to become the new IMAX. You don't even understand.
This is your physical media intervention. If this is on your page, you need to keep buying physical media. Don't ever stop. Let's go through what I picked up in the last
Yeah, let's go. I have a confession to make. I pre-ordered the Kill Bill Whole Bloody Affair from from Lionsgate Limited. No regrets. No regrets.
With this steelbook of All Quiet on the Western Front. It's really hard to find Netflix titles out in the wild, so I'm glad that I stumbled upon this at my local video store. I don't have much to say other than this is a very harrowing, intense watch, so if you've not seen it yet, definitely do so.
All I've seen is the original, and, you know.
Trying to collect as many of Spike Lee's filmography as I can, and I finally picked up BlacKkKlansman on 4K. It's an incredible true story, incredible screenplay, and performances from Adam Driver, and especially John David Washington.
But just like Do the Right Thing, it kind of kills itself in the last 30 seconds, and you're just like, oh, why'd you do that? You almost had something there.
I picked up this 1979 Italian neo-noir called Sierra Noir. Radiance was having a 50% off sale and had some points at Barnes & Noble, so I decided to take a risk with this one. Lastly, I picked up Along with the Gods, The Two Worlds, a Korean action film that was one of the highest grossing films in South Korean history. This film is about a firefighter who dies and goes into the afterlife and has to go through a series of trials to determine his fate. It
like you do.
Is a wild experience. This is one of those films that feels like a fever dream that I can't wait to revisit. That's my haul. It's small but mighty, and don't ever forget, it is physical media forever. Keep on collecting.
I got a fever. And the only cure is more physical media.
Lie. This is a lie. I am telling you guys, this is a lie.
Now let's read it here. The Critical Drinker says, we are seeing the start of a new era of lower budget, artificially creative movie making. I hope so. Wait, am I reading that? Lower budget, artistically creative movie making. I hope so, because the age of mega budget corporate slop is dying fast. Okay. And oh boy, are you about to make an argument for, Marvel and stuff like that, buddy? Oh boy, here we go.
He does not mean this. I am, of course, happy for the success of movies like Obsession, saw it, loved it, and Backrooms, didn't see it, but People are enjoying it, and that's great.
Okay.
But not when it comes at the expense or is being used by dishonest actors like Critical Drinker.
Oh, you just will do like whatever his politics are. I don't even really know much about this guy. I don't really see much of, but like, you know, you just don't like him. So you think that his opinion is invalid even if that opinion agrees with you? That seems silly.
For points against Hollywood and the studio system that
are you about to slop the studio system, dog?
They like to so heavily rail against. I will say, Olive Branch, yes, the success of movies like Obsession and Backrooms do show that audiences have a need or hunger for certain kinds of movies to be made.
So you agree with him? Weird way to put it, but all right.
For sure. However, I mean, we've been here before, right? Horror has always been a very profitable genre of film. This isn't some brand new thing. Sure, the people making it are new because they're from a class of filmmaker that we haven't really had before, but the concept is the same. Historically, horror movies have always been the thing that younger audiences gravitate to, the things that are made.
Not necessarily. Sometimes, but like there was a time, and again, I think this guy's too young to know, that there was a time when horror movies were very much looked down upon and they were pretty trash. The late 80s, you know, as far as like the public at large's idea of horror films, they were not held in high regard. Not at all. And they were considered, like, a lot of younger people liked them, but they liked them because they were dumb. The movies themselves and the children themselves, both dumb. That's why they liked them.
For a lower budget, which means a high return in terms of box office. There are the things that, in terms of story, can break genre convention, can be subversive, can be daring in terms of their theme and narrative and all that. That's never changed. That's always been the case.
Then why are you getting in a tizzy, dog? Why are you getting in a tizzy about it, though? Just because you don't like him? Seems a little emotional.
I bring that up to say, of course, Critical Drinker isn't going to acknowledge that because he doesn't give a shit. He doesn't care about the extensive history or context surrounding movies and filmmaking, and specifically...
Oh, he doesn't know the things that I know because I know all of the things. Huh? Come on, buddy. Get out of here.
Or as a genre. He just views the success of these movies as a point against the fucking progressive, woke, liberal Hollywood studio system that constantly cranks out slop after slop.
Which they do. Because they do. Where's the lie? Where's the lie?
Despite the fact that he gave the fucking Super Mario Galaxy movie a good review, Critical Drinker does not actually want artistically creative movie making.
Or maybe he just likes what he likes. And maybe his idea of what is artistic doesn't align with what your idea of artistic is. You know that's okay, right? We got to get beyond this idea of this person doesn't think like I do, ergo they're evil. You guys got to chill on that, man. That's so stupid.
Because the minute that he gets it, he'll just say that it's pretentious and shows that Hollywood is out of touch with the common man.
They are. When you look at the box office and you look at the returns for what they spend and then what they get back in return, yeah, they have. They've alienated a large chunk of their audience. And people are tired of it. They don't want to see it anymore. And one of the reasons that movies like Obsession and Backrooms, even though, you know, as we've seen earlier in the show, somebody can try to read in as much as they'd like to. Those are just basic ass horror movies that don't really say a whole lot. One is a monkey's paw. The other is, hey, what the hell is this, you know, Backrooms thing? That's it. It's not overly complicated.
And God forbid if the lead in those movies are people of color.
Oh my God. This guy is up on his cross, ain't he?
Or queer.
I can still, it's tough for me to get behind the word because it just used to be a slur, right? You know? So sometimes it still comes off as quite funny. We'd get demolished for that just 10 years ago, you know what I mean? What's next? Good Lord.
Who would you cast in a reboot of Face Off?
Why would you try to remake something that's already been perfected? Let me ask you that, Jason. Why are we trying to, to correct what's already been done perfectly? I don't think we need to. Let's just move on.
And if you've never heard of this film, buckle up. Face Off was a body swap action movie that came out in 1997, and it is frankly sickening that we don't have 8 or 9 sequels by now. Face Off should be a type of movie. There should be one every single year.
Ooh, so he's thinking about it like we just do it like the man with 2 heads. You just keep going, just keep going back over and over again. I love it.
This film simply has the best and also dumbest premise for an action film I've ever heard of. They took 2 actors who were huge stars at the time in John Travolta and Nicolas Cage, both with very distinct voices and personalities and mannerisms. And the plot is that the FBI agent played by John Travolta has to go undercover as the world's most dangerous terrorist played by Nicolas Cage. To do this, John Travolta's character has surgery to make him look exactly like Nicolas Cage's
You mean to take his face off?
Character. But in response, Nicolas Cage's character gets surgery to look like John Travolta's character, so they basically assume each other's lives.
It's amazing. It's such a stupid, goofy ass sci-fi action premise that is to just go, I'll take it. There's so much dumb stuff that goes on. And like one of the things that they mention, right, when we're taking Travolta and going to make him Nicolas Cage, they go, we'll do a little liposuction, we'll do this like body hair, it's all negligible kind of shit. It's just like, it's really, they gloss over so much, And then we get, then Nick Cage wakes up, his Xander Cage wakes up. Xander Cage, that's the other guy. This is, what's his character's name? That's gonna bug me. Damn it. All right, anyways. Lost my train of thought trying to remember that stupid name. That Castor Troy. Thank you, MVD. Holy cow. Thank you. Oh, I knew it was like it's in the Rolodex. I just couldn't pull it out,
But the best part is they're giving the least subtle
Ready for a big ride, baby. That's my favorite part of that movie. It's just like Nicolas Cage is just chewing the scenery. Oh my God, it's so good.
Performances in history. At the start of the film, Nicolas Cage is hamming it up to a degree that should be illegal. So then when they swap bodies, John Travolta has to match that energy.
It's so good. And then because Nick Cage is in jail, or, his character is in jail. Well, Nick Cage, yeah. So... But he's in jail and he's like Travolta, but he's got to be like, all these things. It's so great. This specific scene right here.
Okay, so wow, looks like you're going to be in here for the next 100 years.
So you can see why it's outrageous that they have not rebooted this thing a dozen times with different pairings of actors, where partway through the film they have to swap and start doing each other's personalities. So you could have a reboot where Sydney Sweeney is playing the terrorist and has to swap personalities with Danny DeVito.
Boy, he really went for it there, didn't he?
Or you could have Samuel L. Jackson swapping bodies with Christopher Walken.
Oh no, I'm a black man.
And I feel like you could do this all day. You could have Natasha Lyonne going face off with Brian Cox. Or bring back Nicolas Cage and have him...
No. Nicolas Cage is just the factor between all of them. It's just Nick Cage and then whomever.
Swap bodies and personalities with Timothée Chalamet. Or do Nicolas Cage and Zendaya, if that's allowed. With each of these,
that's allowed.
You really need to picture it in your mind, like Nicolas Cage and Keanu Reeves. Or you could do Nicolas Cage and The Rizzler. Please, give me your own ideas.
Cool people go to the movies. They don't wait for the movies to come onto streaming and watch it at home. They go to the movie theaters. They sit their asses in a recliner. They get an icy and a big popcorn.
Well, listen, if you're an adult, I'm not how sure you're getting an icy. But, yeah, listen, I mean, to a degree, you're right. But at the same time, too, have you been to the movie theater? Do you know the types of people that are in there? I hate to say it. Not always the best.
Or Diet Coke if that's your jam.
Thank you.
And they watch some amazing ass movies. And sometimes the movies are a little shitty too. And they still go back. Because the magic, when it hits, that's the coolest shit there is. Period.
For when the movies hit me, I feel no pain at all.
Superheroes are getting softer. I've noticed this with He-Man and Masters of the Universe and Superman last year. Let me explain. For the longest time, our masculine heroes were defined by their toughness. And when I say they're getting softer, I don't mean weaker. I just mean they're no longer defined by that brute strength.
I mean, to a degree, yeah, but at the same time, too, you don't want just like me, strongman, to be the only selling point of a character.
And now our heroes are strong because of their compassion and their empathy.
But they still can punch somebody in the face when need be. That was kind of the great part about He-Man, is it was that story of like, listen, you should try to, have regular conflict resolution and everything. But if somebody who's hell-bent on, fighting you and everything, you got to throw down.
And their willingness to actually care. Beneath all of the fantasy and the lore of He-Man and Superman is a real sincere character who cares about protecting the people in their world, so they are no longer impossible to relate to. They're still cool, they're still tough, and yeah, they're emotionally vulnerable too. And I like this trend of superheroes getting softer because it makes the characters feel like they actually have something worth fighting for. And there's a sense of hopefulness in both of these movies where both of the heroes are proving that sometimes the most powerful thing you can be is kind. You can still both punch through a brick wall, and they don't have to detach from everyone around them emotionally to prove they can do it.
Yeah, but you still need some death wishes in there. You know what I'm saying?
If you're going to see The Odyssey in theaters next month, you may not even be seeing the whole movie. The team behind
here we go again.
The Odyssey has built out a website that shows the trailer for The Odyssey and all the different formats that one could possibly see this movie in a movie theater. It shows the difference in what this movie is going to look like.
That's pretty cool. I like that. That's a neat little feature.
Like if you see it at a standard movie theater versus seeing it in Dolby or seeing it in 35 millimeter, 70 millimeter, standard IMAX, or the holy grail and the most rare IMAX 70 millimeter. Now, as you can see from this website,
Again, there's only like 12 of those.
Click through the different formats you can see The Odyssey in. Unless you're seeing it in IMAX 70 millimeter, there are large chunks of the image that are going to be cut off in every single shot.
Right, but those things don't really matter because at the end of the day, Christopher Nolan can tell you whatever he wants to. At the end of the day, he was shooting for the widest aspect ratio. He just was. He just was. Because when you see certain shots, you won't see people's heads cut off. That's how you know. That's how you know. Because if he just shot it solely for the wide, for the full IMAX, you'd see heads chopped off. You won't see that.
Never to be seen by you in your theatrical viewing experience. Now, we've seen this before, and you can see this example with Dune, where you have the side-by-side of the...
But again, the thing is coming down, is it not? In this shot, is it not coming down from the sky? Or at least open mat.
IMAX 70 millimeter experience and then a standard theatrical release experience, and you see just how much of the image gets cut off for most theaters. Now, thanks to Ryan Coogler and, Christopher Nolan himself, the general movie-going audience knows these film format terms more.
No, they don't. They're stupid. What are you talking about? IMAX itself as a brand, as I've mentioned many a time, has diluted itself to the nth degree because people don't understand what any of the formats means. You're completely wrong, dude. No one knows about this stuff because they're dumb.
More than ever before.
That's why you need that website that goes through all of those things. People are dumb and don't know what that means. That's illustrative to the dumb people.
We've all heard IMAX 70 millimeter at this point. You've
heard it, but I'm telling you, most people couldn't, point it out on a map.
Know the difference between a real IMAX theater and a LIMAX theater.
None of them know.
But still, 70 millimeter IMAX theaters are amongst the most rare viewing experiences.
This is what you need to see. If your IMAX screen doesn't look like this, look at how tiny these people are. Look at how big this screen is. It needs to be this big. It's huge. It's 6 stories plus.
It's available in the world. There are 39 theaters total worldwide that can play this film format.
That worldwide. less than 40. Come on.
24 of those are within the United States, but still, out of the 39 theaters worldwide, still not even every single one of them is going to be getting the Odyssey. Still, I think this website showing the difference in film formats is a really cool and neat addition to the evolving lore of filmmakers trying to show the different ways they can present their film in a theater. And if at all possible that you can see the Odyssey in IMAX 70mm, go out and do it. You're one of the rare instances in the world that's able to experience a film.
And I would like to. In the last couple of Christopher Nolan films, I have seen in IMAX and everything. But at this point, if I have not bought my ticket, there's pretty much zero chance that I'm going to get a seat, within that amount of time, because people are ding-dongs and dum-dums. And just, they go, and frankly, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't have very high hopes for this movie. So that's also another reason why I don't want to drive 4 hours to Atlanta to see a movie that there's a decent enough chance I might not like, and then have to drive another 4 hours back. So, yeah, And the last time that I went to see, Oppenheimer was when I, went down to Atlanta. I saw Less Than Jake and then saw Oppenheimer the next day. So it kind of like it made all of it worthwhile to do so. So unless there's another scenario like that, but I doubt it.
In that format. And if you're in the majority that's not going to be able to experience it in an IMAX 70mm theater, it's still going to be one of the greatest theatrical experiences of the year.
You don't know that. You don't know that at all. That is just you talking out your butt, my friend.
Oh, this is a good one. The marketing campaign for the 1994 film The Glass Shield, handled by Miramax Films, is widely considered one of the most egregious examples of misleading trailer editing in the 1990s. To capitalize on the success of that decade's Hood films, Miramax explicitly altered the film's framing, tone, and character prominence. Number 1, action thriller versus slow burn drama. The trailer portrayed an action-packed, adrenaline-fueled, no-holds-barred gangland revenge.
You hear that kind of that sort of like tone in the background that's just telling you like, hey, things are serious around here.
Thriller. The actual movie, a slow burn, somber, and deeply cynical neo-noir psychological drama about institutional racism and systematic police corruption. Number 2, the Ice Cube bait and switch. The trailer portrayed rapper-actor Ice Cube as the central defiant co-lead driving a heart-stopping suspense narrative. He is placed front and center in the trailer's editing and promotional posters. The actual movie, Ice Cube's character is essentially a glorified cameo. As a regular guy unlawfully arrested, he spends most of the film just passively sitting in a jail cell. Number 3, shift in protagonist focus. The trailer portrayed aggressive street conflict, dramatic standoffs, and explosive action sequences. The actual movie, the story belongs entirely to the character of J.J. Johnson, played by Michael Boatman, an idealistic black rookie deputy who initially tries so hard to fit in with his corrupt racist colleagues that he covers up their crimes. His arc is about psychological guilt and moral decay, not physical action. The result? Miramax's mismarketing truly backfired. It alienated audiences looking for a fast-paced urban thriller and missed the art house viewers who would have appreciated the director's brilliant post-Rodney King critique of broken policing. Did you see this film?
No.
The trailer before it, and did it fool you? Let me know in the comments.
I didn't kill nobody. Freeze! I didn't rob nobody. I never even used a gun.
Oh my God! Yeah, that does not look like a slow psychological burn.
Like the song says, my skin is my sin.
That's crazy.
Okay, I ran across a video earlier of a guy talking about movies and like trilogies and like the best trilogies and whatnot, and he was saying like Back to the Future is his favorite trilogy in comparison to Star Wars and Lord of the Rings. Obviously, those are the top 3 trilogies, and I agreed with him. But like everyone in the comments was like, "Oh no, man!"
A lot of people don't like Back to the Future 3, and I get it to a degree, but it's I think it's the lesser of the 3, but I still think it's a good enough film. I like 3.
Yeah, and I was like, dude, Back to the Future is the most relatable. Everyone can watch it. Everyone in the family could watch it.
It's very true, but I will say, of the ones you mentioned here and everything, the perfect one is Lord of the Rings. I mean, all 3 of those films are fantastic. Their even longer cuts are even more fantastic. So, even Jedi falls off, kids.
You don't have to know any lore to watch it. and yeah, there's no like aliens and like incomprehensible laser weapons, no goblins and like magic swords. Don't get me wrong, I love those movies, but it's not a trilogy for everyone. No, Lord of the Rings and Star Wars is 100%
Now, Grandma, this is called Gollum, see?
not for everyone. But Back to the Future, everyone can watch that for sure at any time.
I don't know, man. There's a couple swears in there, and I think my grandparents would have been a little upset.
So the guy is 100% right.
Every single time an indie film makes a bunch of money, Hollywood executives take away the exact wrong lesson from it.
That's correct. I don't know what he's got to say on it, but I do know that much, is that every time one of these small movies, Hollywood goes, you know what this means, right? We know how to do this. No, you don't. No, you do not.
And they run with it, and it doesn't go well. And right now, we're in a tough situation where Backrooms, Obsession, and Iron Lung, in just the first half of 2026, 20x'd their budgets. Like, they combined made $200 million plus. Their budget
now they're going to be like, what happens if we spend $100 million? We're going to 10x that $100 million. That's big brain.
Budgets were 13 or 14 million combined, and most of that was Backrooms. And I know an executive sitting somewhere missing the plot saying, like, find me a YouTuber with 30 million followers and give him a horror movie. And they're going to give it to Logan Paul or Mr. Beast or something.
Oh, they better not do that now. Like, you got to give it to somebody who's an actual filmmaker. But he's not wrong. Hollywood would be stupid enough to do that.
Something like that. And it's going to be crazy because here's the thing they're missing. It's actually similar to why the AMC website crashed for Christopher Nolan's Odyssey.
It's because they don't use Amazon Web Services. Amazon Web Services. We're everywhere, bitch.
70mm print, like, people were flooding to get tickets. I think it's because these filmmakers aren't influencers. They're actually like obsessive full stack filmmakers. And I thought that was a bad thing. When I was growing up making YouTube videos in 2008, 2012 or whatever, I felt bad that I was editing, shooting, doing VFX, composing some of the music myself. But currently, I think that's one of the most powerful strengths an indie filmmaker can have. Because if you look at it, Markiplier edited it, acted, wrote. He set up a render farm in his bathroom and had to install like professional HVAC to cool it, so he could do the VFX. You have Curry edited Obsession, wrote it, directed it. You have in Backrooms, the director Kane. He like literally did a bunch of the VFX in Blender himself. He also co-composed the score. And that's the Christopher Nolan effect, I think, is that people aren't saying, I gotta see the Odyssey because it has Matt Damon and Anne Hathaway. They're saying Christopher Nolan's version of the Odyssey in 70mm is what I want to see. It's like this obsessive, people are over the actor thing. And my fear with Hollywood is they're just gonna try and find influencers like Logan Paul, or I don't know why I keep saying him.
Because it's everyone's biggest nightmare that Logan Paul becomes Martin Scorsese.
And they're going to give them money and say, but they've already tried that. They're going to say, because they have tons of followers, people are going to go. People didn't go to see Obsession because of Curry, Barker, Bake, whatever. I'm sorry, man.
No, but people weren't really fully aware of who he was and stuff like this. So like the reason now you can certainly say that they went to go see Markiplier's movie on account of Markiplier. That much is true. And there was, I'm certainly sure there was a handful of just straight horror people that do what the horror people do and just watch whatever horror movie is out there. Those people exist 1000%. But the majority of people that were seeing Markiplier's movie were going to see it on account of Markiplier. People that were going to see, Obsession were not like, ooh, I'm a big Curry Barker. No.
Apologize. They went because the movie was inventive, creative, good, and they could feel the obsessive digital auteur thing. So my 2 cents, Hollywood, track down Julian Smith and give him $2 million to make a dark comedy, and I would go watch that.
Is his name Julian Smith? Is that what we're probably to find out? Or am I being too cynical and I believe that that's his name? Even because I was looking at the name there at the last second to try to figure that out, but.
So my daughter asked me if I would take her and her friend to see the movie Backrooms. She tells me it's based on a Roblox game and is PG-13. So I'm like, how bad could it be? I say yes. I coordinate with the other mom, we get tickets, everything is set. Then about 2 hours before the movie, I finally decide to do some research.
Uh-oh.
Turns out it's not PG-13, it's rated R.
Yeah.
And it's an A24 film.
Yeah.
And apparently there's an entire internet mythology surrounding it that I know absolutely nothing about.
No, you don't have
The
to worry
girls
about that.
are all excited, they get all dressed up, they're ready to go. The theater is packed. People are cosplaying. Everyone seems to know what's going on except me. And that's when I realize I've accidentally walked into a fandom. Now, I don't do horror movies at all. So there I am, sitting in this theater watching people get chased through endless creepy rooms while strange things are lurking in the shadows.
Were you the adult chaperone that was just doing this the whole time going, no, 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 no?
An hour and 10 minutes in, I'm out of there. I'm out. Nope. I left. I got up. I walked right out of the theater. I got no shame about that. No shame at all. I was done. Meanwhile, my 10-year-old and her friend stayed to watch the entire movie. Her friend was terrified. My daughter loved it. She loved it. Afterwards, she came out smiling and saying, like, that was my favorite movie. And
Those kids are hardcore. I love
and
it.
that's when it hit me. This wasn't really a movie about Backrooms. It was the moment I realized my kid understands the entire corner of the internet culture that I know nothing about. I thought I was taking her to see a movie. It turns out she was giving me a guided tour of Gen Alpha. I was completely unprepared, y'all. Completely unprepared. So if you're looking for a review of this movie, I didn't even stay to see the whole thing, so I can't give you one. The first half of it was great. That's all I got for you.
It turns out the lessons we learned were the friends that we made along the way.
Horror is the new comedy. When I was growing up, the films that did the best in theater when I was in high school were comedy films, movies like Ron Burgundy, SuperBad. You don't see a lot of movies like this made.
I always love when somebody looks like my exact same age, but is like 10 years younger than me, according to his math right here. But that's okay.
Anymore, and if you do, they're not doing super well. Studios like these films because they were relatively cheap to make and they were usually pretty successful in the box office. That's not the case anymore for those types of comedies, but it is the case for horror films, which are
always been the case for horror films. That's kind of one of the dirty little secrets.
Also usually inexpensive to make and are now doing very well in the box office. And I think this shift in popularity from comedy to horror shows a lot about the collective consciousness of Americans.
No, not necessarily. It just means that, like, right now we're at a dead time for comedies because you can't do things that are funny anymore because everybody gets offended. That's the problem that we're in. You can't say dirty words. You can't do suggestive things. You can't have, none of these things are allowed anymore. So, if you can't step over the bounds, then why do anything?
Society. Cheap laughs feel so insincere. Watching a movie with some numbskull character in New York City who happens to have
New York City
an apartment and food to eat despite having no job and being a loser just isn't realistic for us anymore. But horror, the feeling of powerlessness, the feeling of some immense thing bearing down on you, we all feel very at home watching horror. And in some ways, I think watching a horror film taps us into a feeling of validation, of being understood, because all of the best horror films that are being made right now are critiquing societal issues that we are facing.
They're not always doing that, but again, that's the good side of a horror film, that when you can do that and you don't necessarily have to. You can watch it as just a standalone thing that's like, oh, this is this horror movie, or you can have something that you could look into and delve in deeper. It's best when you can do both.
In the summer of 1993, one major studio learned the hard way that no matter how confident you are in your film, you don't directly compete with Steven Spielberg.
Yep, you got that one correct, man. So I just happened to have these sitting on my computer. This was the day that I saw Jurassic Park when I went to the Heroes Convention in 1993. It was at the Hilton in Charlotte. And so we went to the comic book convention and then saw Jurassic Park right after. Let me tell you, not a day you're going to forget.
That summer, Sony bet all their chips on Last Action Hero. It was the only major blockbuster they had on their release slate for the summer of 1993, and they were betting on this film to make big money.
Oh,
It
yeah.
starred Arnold at the height of his career. It had John McTiernan, the director of Die Hard, behind the camera. It was a satirical, meta, fantasy action comedy. It had a
We didn't know what any of those words meant, so no one went.
massive budget attached to it. Sony even rushed the film's production to make sure it met its June 18th release date, to the point that both Arnold and director John McTiernan went to the studio's offices and begged them to move the release to Christmas.
You've got to move the release date to Christmas.
But Sony wouldn't listen. They
you
didn't
motherfuckers.
want to miss the season without a big summer movie being released. What ended up happening is that the movie failed massively at the box office. It lost the studio a lot of money and delivered Arnold his first box office flop at the height of his career. And that's because just a week prior, on June 11th, Jurassic Park was released and just started dominating the whole summer. Sony was certain and confident that Jurassic Park would make its money on its first weekend, and then on the second weekend, people would go over and watch their movie. That didn't happen. This just kept bringing in money. Very select films actually managed to make a big profit going up against Jurassic Park for the rest of the summer. And 2 of them were the product of Warner Brothers making very smart decisions with their own releases. Free Willy was depending on the same audience that would have gone to see Jurassic Park.
Yeah, and they did a really good job there, because if you'll remember, one of the biggest parts about Free Willy that in the marketing campaign was a Michael Jackson song. I'm telling you, Michael Jackson got people to go see this movie.
So they put this movie out over a month after Jurassic Park's release. And when it came to the more adult-oriented The Fugitive...
And but like, that's the thing, you say adult-oriented, but I was like, again, same age here and everything, and we all went to go see The Fugitive as a family too.
They waited until August. And
it was friggin' Harrison Ford, you know?
Both movies ended up making a great profit for the studio. And that is how Sony learned the hard way that no matter how confident you are in your movie, you don't compete with Steven Spielberg.
Don't with Steven Spielberg. Wow.
Should the crew that made the movie Obsession get more money because of its success at the box office?
Did they sign a piece of paper that said they get to do so? If not, no. That's all.
That has been the current discussion online after the art director of Obsession, who not only revealed her day rate, but had some thoughts on additional compensation. Now,
I'm sure she had some of those thoughts, and that's the thing. She's not necessarily entitled to those. If she gets some, that'll be fantastic, but is she entitled to them? No. No, she's not.
For someone who's been working in the film industry for about 10 plus years, who's worked on various commercials, infomercials, movies, TV, I've pretty much been on it all. Now I have 2 major things to discuss. Number 1, extra compensation that is worked into a budget if the movie is a success after being sold to a big studio is not going to happen. Now, there definitely are options in your contract to negotiate whether you take an upfront rate right now or you get back points later on if the movie is a success.
Right. And most of them don't do that. And again, his movie was shot for $700,000. Now, if you were smart and you thought, oh, maybe this might be something, maybe you would have negotiated a thing into your contract to do that. If you didn't do it, they don't actually owe you any money. I know it hurts, but they don't. And here's the thing. And honestly, it's one of the biggest problems with Hollywood right now is that you guys want to be paid forever for doing one thing. There are so many Hollywood people that I hear, and I see them on social media. They talk about, like, I do this one thing, or they've done 2 or 3 things, and they're like, well, how am I supposed to live? You're supposed to get more jobs. That's how you're supposed to live. You're not supposed to have, well, I was on Give Me a Break on 2 episodes, that should last me for the rest of my life. No, it shouldn't. No, it shouldn't. You should say, hey, I get to put Obsession on my resume now. So when I go to a new job, I'm going to be able to request more money on account I've done something that is of such high merit. That's how jobs work.
But usually with a micro budget movie like this, they're not looking for that. They tell you up front what the rate is going to be, or at least you should that should be the very first thing you ask when somebody offers you a job in the movie industry. You signed a contract with your director, producer, or whoever's hiring you, and you agreed on a rate. That's it. And if you worked overtime, then you get overtime. And just because you wear multiple hats and had to work really, really late hours, that's the business.
I'm so happy that he's bringing in this dose of reality.
Like it or not, and especially on passion project lower budget films, you're going to be doing a lot of that.
But get your name out there, and now that you've gotten yourself attached to a big movie, you're going to be able to go and do bigger movies to be able to get you that paycheck that you're looking for. Use it as a stepping stone that it was meant to be. Jeez Louise.
Whether you think is right is basically up to you. Most people that jump on these projects, it's either their very first job and they are in it to get more work and their name in the game. Because a lot of these people probably either believe in the project or they believe in the director. And to have the name Obsession in your reel and bio right now is unbelievably huge. It's
exactly. If you had Star Wars in your resume, would it matter what you did in Star Wars? You had Star Wars in your resume. It's pretty dope.
Literally worth its weight in gold. You can brag about that for the rest of your career. So many people would have absolutely killed to be in your position just to have the name Obsession in their reel.
Now we're just going to know you as the whiny baby who just like, I want some more money. I'm sure you do, and you'll get some more money in your next job. Now go to the next job.
Not everybody's me, but I've taken a pay cut multiple times because I not only believe in a director or a DP, or I'm in it for the love of the game. I need money too, but I also like to take risks when I can. If you could not take a risk on this passion project, then you should not have taken the job. You
correct.
Could have looked at the rate and been like, yeah, that's too low. Either negotiate or walk out the door.
We act like, that they didn't sign on to a project, that they didn't know what they were doing. Like somebody ambushed them at a gas station and be like, you're in a movie now. No, it's not how that works.
That is how the freelance work works. There's one other thing I want to talk about too, and that is called set etiquette. And personally, knowing set etiquette is just as important as knowing how to do your job on set.
Number one, don't take your joint out. They don't like that, I understand it needs a little bit of air, but you're not supposed to do that, not in public.
I can make an entire video about how you are supposed to act on set, but there's one big thing you really don't want to do. And
talk about your money.
And that is publicly bad-mouthing your rate to everybody in the world.
Yep.
Especially at this point to the producers, because guess who saw this post? Everybody.
That's what I'm saying. You opened your mouth and became a dum-dum. Congratulations.
Days of filming are hard enough. And believe it or not, nobody wants any extra drama. This screams drama. Will forever be known as the person that complained about their rate and was on Obsession. They're not going to want that. I'm sorry. Look, I get that times are tough. Things are expensive and the cost of living is astronomical, especially in a lot of different places in the United States. And if you were complaining about a movie that had a budget of $100 million and you made that rate, yeah, I would probably want to complain too. I still probably wouldn't do it publicly though. Whether you think that the crew should get bonuses or not, this entire thing was so unbelievably wrong to post publicly online. This was so meant for a private conversation that only a handful of people could have seen in an email. Not Instagram and Twitter. If Curry Barker wanted to give out bonuses, maybe he will. That is solely up to him. Like it or not, that is how the film.
And it may not even necessarily be up to him. I mean, unless he's giving bonuses out of his own pocket and stuff like that. But, it's up to him and the other producers and stuff, and to be able to. And it would be nice, but like they're not obligated to.
Film industry works, and if you do not like it, then don't work in the film industry. It is literally as simple as that. Especially coming from an indie film with a set budget that came out probably mostly from crowdfunding and Curry Barker's own pocket. Nobody knows they're making the next Jaws or Jurassic Park. It is a lightning in a bottle moment, and
I think we knew Jurassic Park was going to be good. Now Jaws, there's it's his first big, theatrical movie there and everything. So there's questions. But by the time we get to Jaws, the man's been in the film industry for 25 years. So we kind of go, well, I think he knows what he's doing.
Happens. There's my 2 cents. Like it or not, that's how it is.
I am so happy that I found someone on the internet who's got a brain in his head and is in the industry, knows how it works, and will be able to tell people. It's so nice. God, it's so nice.
Scary Movie 6 makes movie 43 look like an Oscar contender.
Damn. That's what made me stop on this one. I was just like, all right, I'm saving that for TikTok Trash Tuesday. Lay it down for us. What do we got?
The reviews are not lying. It really is that bad. First off, there is hardly even a plot here. It started out trying to tell a story based off Scream 5 and 6, and Ghostface is the one consistent thing that's occurring through the entirety of this film. But it was just largely sewn together with various sketches, making for a very disjointed film overall. For the most part, the humor falls flat. There are some laughs and chuckles here and there, but what they're trying to do is just so largely unfunny from a family that is so funny. So it just baffles me at how bad this script was, how bad this story was. I just feel like they were doing too much, trying to include references to every single horror movie that's come out in the last several years since we got the last Scary Movie.
Well, that's what they think. They're like, oh, well, we do all the references.
If they just focused in on a few movies and tightened up their references overall, going with the strongest of the bunch, it would have been a much better movie structurally speaking. And I'll admit it, there were multiple points where I just wanted to walk out of the theater towards the back half of the movie, but I was with somebody who was trying to see it through, and it's so funny because they weren't even a Scary Movie fan. I was actually the fan of the franchise, and I dragged him to see this movie with me, but I just felt so embarrassed that I even chose this movie for us, and to escape, I just decided, all right, we'll just knock back and go to sleep for a little bit. So I did miss some of the ending. The lady right next to me was fully gone. She was snoring. She was not here for it. The movie just felt so long, as if it would never end. And it's such a letdown too, because this cast and the Wayans family are just so iconic. Anna Faris and Regina Hall in particular deserved a much better film. But they did the best that they could with the material that they were given. Part of me wonders whether or not this film was purposely made to be bad, just because they didn't want to make another one of these movies. And I wouldn't be surprised if that was true. All in all,
Then it certainly might have been a paycheck.
it is absolutely not worth the money. Save your hard-earned dollars and watch it via streaming later this year. But to be honest, you wouldn't even be missing anything at all if you decided to skip this movie entirely. And that's saying something.
You said it right there. To be honest, you need to watch it on Tubi.
I think Obsession is the recency bias definitely included, but I think Obsession is the best horror movie that I have ever seen.
Again, it's a very good film. Joe, I need to tell you, you might need to get out and watch some more horror films. As good as the movie is, of all time,
I think it wasn't cheap scares. And I too used the term scary in a different video, and a lot of people got mad because they were like, well, horror films don't have to be scary. And I'm like, well, I use scary and horror interchangeably. I know the definitions are different, but it's like this movie brought a level of discomfort that I had never experienced watching a movie before. Not to the level of like gore or grossness that Terrifier has, just pure like stress. This was the most stressful movie I think I've ever watched. The entire film, I was watching it like this.
Yeah, that's because your generation has a hard time, dealing with emotions. One of the reasons that I think that it elicits this is a lot of the great cinematography in the movie, where people's faces, specifically her face, is in darkness a lot of times. And we connect with people by looking at their eyes and stuff. And if you can't see their eyes, you can't see their expression, what's going on, they're in the dark. It's frightening.
The movie theater, because it's that disturbing in general. He wants to go over Ian's house that night, but Ian's like, Nikki's clearly obsessed with you. Nikki can't come. So he says that like he's gonna go. She gets excited. She starts showering, and then randomly, he's like, oh, well, it's like a guy's night. And she goes, ah! In the shower, like violently. And it's like, oh, fuck.
What if it would have turned into like, he decides to like just run away, and then it becomes like an international chase and stuff like that, where he's trying to get away, but she's, one step behind.
You're sitting there going, oh my God, like this girl's crazy. Let do that. It's like every toxic relationship times 5,000. Whole movie's a spoiler, dork. The title of the stream is Obsession Spoilers. I'm spoiled. We're watching a fucking thing about the entire film. I'm gonna spoil the whole movie right now.
I'll mute it just because I don't know what he's gonna say here, and I don't want you guys to get spurled on something. So we're gonna let that fly. I don't know if you've seen this movie or not. I think that you guys, some of you have, I'm sure, but I'm going to just let him go. Look at him go. Always with the tank top, this guy. Are you getting sun? Do you need extra movement for your shoulders? What's happening? He seems very passionate about it. What is with dudes these days in the necklaces, huh? We're wearing a lot of necklaces these days. It's a little,
Off is always more scary. Like, the uncanny is always more unscary, or more
Wouldn't it have been hilarious if she became like Jay Sherman following Siskel and Ebert around in that one episode of The Critic? Forgot about that.
scary than something that's like a monster, right? Like a demon or a
It turns out that the monster was inside of us all along.
being that's like haunting you, like the boogeyman, is not nearly as scary as
you guys say boogeyman or bogeyman.
Something that's like Nikki, where she's snapping in and out of being like human, and the scene where she's just like uncannily staring at him at night in the corner of the room's terrifying. Where she fucking snaps in and out of it and she's walking backward.
All right, he's gonna just go through everything here, I guess. I didn't realize we were rolling into spoilers here. I don't possibly spoil this for people. You just look at this, whatever this guy is. All right, okay, all right, there it is. All right, let's go. We're almost at the end here. Don't worry.
If you're frustrated that you can't see the Odyssey in 70mm IMAX, your response shouldn't be that Christopher Nolan should stop making movies in IMAX. It should be that we need more IMAX theaters.
No.
The right direction is not to regress and tell artists that they need to fit into the limitations of the industry and theatrical infrastructure.
You know what really pisses me off is we could use all of this, and James Cameron, certainly of all people, should have really taken all of this time and all of these big budget brouhahas to get together and say, hey, I will not be releasing, okay, let's rewind the clock. Before Avatar came out, James Cameron put down an edict that said, hey, I've got this movie called Avatar. It's coming in a couple of years, and I am only going to be releasing this in digital. This is going to be the biggest film in all of history. And if you don't have digital, projectors at your screen, at your theater, you're not going to be able to show this movie. And you know what happened? Every theater turned over to digital. They all did. Because they all wanted to be in on that James Cameron money. And you know what? It was a smart decision. Because they could open Avatar to a whole boatload of screens, play it a whole bunch of times, and indeed, it was the highest grossing film for a good many years. Why these boys didn't go back in and be like, hey, I'm not bringing out my movie unless you're going to be seeing it on a laser projector, which are way brighter. And because right now I'm here to tell you, the majority of theaters that I go to, their projectors are absolutely butt garbage. They're terrible. So I'm just pissed that Cameron or Nolan or somebody didn't say, hey, we're only going to be, presenting this in like a laser projector or something like that. So you can get, revolutionize the theater industry again, because it needs it.
IMAX has been one of the most
And it doesn't, and doing it in IMAX ain't the answer.
profitable marketing strategies for the film industry probably ever, and I find it ironic that the whole opera ballet gate thing just happened and everyone was defending opera and ballet as these art forms that might be expensive or inaccessible but are keeping the live exhibition of something important alive.
Yeah, but the fact of the matter is those things are far too expensive. It's all hoi polloi stuff, and most people don't have access to it. And the people that sit there and say, I love that stuff, you produce your stubs. Produce the stubs of the last, 3 operas that you went to, the last 5 ballets you went to. Let me know what they were. You went to a play once. Shut up.
But now people are mad at filmmakers like Christopher Nolan or Ryan Coogler for pushing the medium forward and creating films that people see as events worthy of going to the cinema to because of the way that they're filmed. Especially because IMAX is meant for full screen immersion. You're not missing
Certainly full screen, that's for sure.
out on important information if you don't see it that way. It's expanding your peripheral vision in a cool way, but they purpose
It's not your peripheral vision if it's up and down. Am I wrong about that? peripherals on the side. I don't know what's up and down, but peripherals side.
Fully center punch everything
Specifically not side. It's vertical.
in the frame so that it can be cropped for any format and you're still getting what you need. And theater chains
And again, that's what they're looking at, because they're looking at what the, for lack of a better word, lowest common denominator is.
are seeing this demand. Oppenheimer and Sinners were sold out for months. This is the biggest real IMAX release on 1570 film in about a decade. AMC just said that The Odyssey had the biggest pre-sales of any feature film since 2022. So now theaters are
And I can't wait for the disappointments, because
installing old projectors. Theaters that never had IMAX before are getting it. And even if you see it in regular IMAX, you're still getting an expanded aspect ratio. So yes, it royally sucks not being able to see a film in the special format that everyone's going to be talking about. But the issue is not with the format itself. We need to be talking instead about the need for accessibility. Into the industry.
oh my gosh, accessibility is not the, I mean, I get it, but it's...
is already responding to it. So I only see all of this excitement as a good thing that makes it clear that people value theatrical exhibition, even if it's a frustrating transitional phase. But let me know what you guys think.
I think people are treating the Odyssey and shit like that as like Pokemon cards, if that makes sense. Where it's just like, it's just a craze, it's just a thing to do, you know, so they're jumping on it. We must go see all the Christopher Nolan films.
When I go to work, I get picked up. Someone makes my breakfast.
Right.
Someone hands me the words that I'm supposed to say. Someone will tell me where I'm supposed to stand. Someone dresses me. And I'm considered an artist, but so much of that work is done for me.
I'm so glad that that someone in Hollywood will actually admit to this. That's a big step. That's a big step, admitting, hey, listen, I'm the artist, and yet everyone does all the things for me. I'm a pampered person. Yeah, congratulations, man. Most people don't got the guts to say that out loud.
Backstage, you see them taking their anorak off, putting their packed lunch on the side. They go out, they nail it, they come in, and they head off to the next club. And I know some of them have writers and all that sort of stuff, but to see the singular effort that it takes, I was always so impressed by that. And I love that my dad took me to see that, because it was really eye-opening to me.
That's cool. That's very cool.
Yeah, it's not as cool as to be like, hey, maybe I'm not that important. You need to have that, like you almost got there. You almost got there.
Should the crew of a movie be paid more if the movie ends up being wildly successful?
I was doing two things that were quite as similar, but let's see what this guy's take is. I probably should have edited this out, but here we go. He's in this fucker 3 times this week. I apologize for that, but I thought we needed some new blood around here, and I didn't. Yeah.
That is the latest discourse going on right now, as the art director of Obsession, Sally Choi, has opened up on Instagram about her experiences working on the set of the film and how much she ended up being paid for it. As art director, she was paid $300 per day, and when all things were said and done after the 26-day shoot, the overall take-home pay after taxes was about $6,700 for her work throughout the month. Now,
okay, and that's for a month of work on an indie film. Not too bad.
Obsession is an indie film made with an overall total budget of $750,000. The film was then acquired by Focus Features for $15 million, who then distributed the film in theaters, where now it is making about $200 million total at the box office. So Obsession became way more successful than anyone could have predicted. So should the crew share in that success
only if their contracts say so?
After the fact, now that Obsession has exploded? Well, this is a nuanced conversation that has two very loud, very polarly...
It's not that nuanced. It's really not. It's really not. Is it on the paper? If it's not, sorry.
Opposite arguments on each side.
You can argue whether or not it's, moral or right or nice or good or whatever, but you can't argue whether or not it's right. It's what's on the paper.
Pleading their case, when in reality the answer should probably exist somewhere in the middle. On one side, you have the side of the crew and the artists who say, when you're making an indie small budget production like this, everyone has to make sacrifices, everyone has to cut corners, wear many different hats. Just to even get the movie made, everyone has to go above and beyond. So when a film reaches a level of success like Obsession has, the crew should have some sort of bonus payments to get extra money to share.
Should, but don't necessarily have to. It'd be nice if you did, but Not required.
Share in the overwhelming success of the artistic vision that they helped create. Now, $300 a day for an art director for a production like this is actually not a terrible rate, but then her Instagram post goes into detail about all the extra hats she had to wear, all the additional responsibilities above and beyond what an art director would normally have to do that she did in order to get Obsession made, pushing her mind and body to the absolute limit, even noting that she weighed as little as 90 pounds by the time production ended. So it just sounds only fair that the crew that puts their blood, sweat, and tears into the production of the movie gets to share a little bonus based on the box office success a movie ends up having. Now, the other side of this argument would be the more producer-distributor mindset, saying that this is a slippery slope. You do not want cast and crew payments to be tied squarely to the financial success of a movie. Because for every mega success story like Obsession, you have multiple other examples of films that completely flopped at the box office, or at the very least didn't even make back its budget. And in those instances where films don't break even at the box office, the cast and crew still get paid. It's the production companies and the distribution studios that take the big loss and lose money on the film. So the studio's argument would be, we don't dock your pay when the movie flops, so why should we give you bonuses?
That's correct. No one ever really brings that up of like, wait, we don't take away your money if the movie stinks. You got your stuff. Again, everybody just wants that mailbox money, and I know how fun and exciting it sounds, but you don't always get it
when the movie flourishes. I think realistically the answer should lie somewhere in the middle. I'm not going to act like I'm an expert in how these studios are operated in Hollywood. You should want guaranteed fixed rates, protections against poor working conditions, provisions in your contract that if you sign up as an art director and that's all it says you are in your contract, and they start making you do all these other responsibilities and things on set, that you should get paid fairly for working those alternate responsibilities. And I think in a perfect world, these below-the-line crew members of a film should get a bonus when a film like this explodes at the box office beyond anyone's wildest imagination. But certainly Sally Choi sharing her experiences has fueled a discourse in the film community, which is certainly a risky initiative for someone who is an up-and-coming art director trying to keep making it in Hollywood. But at the same time, public discourse like this might be what actually leads to some positive change. So
nah, Sally's screwed. Sally is absolutely screwed. She opened her mouth when she should have kept it closed and said, she should have said, I'm so proud to be working on this thing. I can't wait to, bring my efforts to, more Hollywood, blah, 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 whatever. You can make up whatever thing you want. But instead you were like, I want more money. Where's my money? Well, you're not going to get no money now because you ain't going to get no more jobs because you've proven yourself to be a whiny baby. Congratulations.
We'll see what comes out of this.
That's it, everybody. TikTok Trash Tuesday down. We had more material and less thing than last week, so I think I shut up for a good portion of it. That is it, everybody. I don't know what we're going to be doing in the meantime. I might do something between now and Sunday, but who's to say? I don't really know. But on Sunday evening, why don't you show up for Half-Ass Movie Podcast? This week we are talking Spider-Man Noir. Have you seen it? Have you heard of it? Do you know what this thing is? We're going to be checking that out on Sunday. So join us 8 p.m. over here on YouTube's for Spider-Man Noir. That is it, everybody. We shall see you in the meantime. Adios, everybody. Wait, there we go. Bye-bye. Goodbye. Goodbye. All the kids in Springfield are little SOBs.